hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate that. It helps us show up a little bit more on YouTube. And want to say thanks again to the people who subscribed on the first video. I appreciate that. It helps us show up a lot more. I also wanted to say that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not offering any financial advice. What I'm doing simply is learning on a crypto journey, and I want to be able to openly share it with you, and maybe it'll help you in your decisions or any questions you might have along the way. Okay. And in saying that, I want to talk about today is Bitcoin. Bitcoin was started in 2009. It was started by an anonymous group or a person by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. I hope I'm saying that right. And what he was in plans he was doing was wanting to do a open source, peer-to-peer, decentralized blockchain that can store value, also transfer it around the world. So, and what he mean by storing the value, because they were only going to make 21 million Bitcoin, and that 21 million was going to supposed to mirror the inflation of gold. Is the purpose of what it was doing what he was doing with the Bitcoin. Basically, as a peer-to-peer, you can do it without any middleman. So they wanted to do it with no middleman, no banker, or anything in between the transferring of the funds. So that enabled a lot of bankless countries or places to transfer funds that weren't able to do it, that didn't have banks. So it became pretty acceptable, because at the time it was only trading for about 8 to 9 cents a coin. So from that point to fast forward to 2014, where the IRS deemed Bitcoin to be a property instead of a currency, and that was for tax purposes as well. But what that did was also made it also a class for an asset, to be classified as an asset as well. So now with those assets, Bitcoin being an asset is almost like what he was trying to invent it to do, is mirror the gold inflation, and that's what happened with it as well. So basically, one way to look at the inflation is your buying power, right? If you put money into a bank account, you're only going to draw maybe a 0.2, 0.3 interest per year on your money. Well, that won't even cover inflation. So basically, you won't be making any money, because the buying power you have at that point won't be as strong as it would be if you had placed it into something to hedge off the inflation, like gold, or the number one asset now to hedge it off is Bitcoin. And in 2014, that price was around 580 a token. And what I'm saying about it, how we know that it's a hedge to gold and the U.S. dollar, is because of the infrastructure that's been laid out in the U.S. to support it. And what I'm saying about the infrastructure is, I'm looking at things as like the American fintech companies and some of the big tech companies like Apple. They're actually, you can buy Bitcoin on Apple now. You can also buy Bitcoin on PayPal now. You can also buy Bitcoin on what's that other one? Cash App right now as well. So what that did was open the infrastructures up to where it be widely accepted. And with that, I noticed a lot of the Bitcoin ATM machines start popping up around all over in different stores. And you can actually buy Bitcoin, or you can actually withdraw it just like an ATM machine for regular cash. So those start popping up as well. And you started seeing a lot of the big hedge fund companies buying Bitcoin to put in their ETF, because they weren't able to actually offer Bitcoin, but they could put in an ETF. They got approved for that, and a lot of those companies started buying into it as well as because they saw the value went to around right now today it's at 40, what 39, 40 grand. So they start seeing the value in it as well as an asset. So that's where we kind of at right now. Bitcoin, they seeing it now as more of an asset to hedge off the money, the actual money because of inflation. Just as back in the days, they used to use gold as a hedge, and you still use it to this day. And but the U.S. dollar, they used to use it, but as of now, with inflation going on, well, it's about to really be going on here in the next couple of years. You want to put your money somewhere where you can still have the same buying power once you really, or either it increases. So you want to make sure you put your money in something that way versus into a regular account where you're not going to have the same buying power with inflation on your money. I hope that kind of broke down what Bitcoin is and what's the purpose for Bitcoin. With saying that, I'm sure you would like to know how you can own some Bitcoin. So basically, when you own Bitcoin, you don't really own an actual coin. What you own is an actual address, and that address is made for a wallet just for you, where you can send and receive those Bitcoins in that wallet. Now, in that wallet, you'll have a public address and you'll have a private address. Public key, private key. With the public address, public key, you can actually share that with people. You can actually use that to receive your Bitcoin, sort of like an account number where you can share your account number for direct deposits or any other type of incoming transfers. But they can't really access your account. That's what the public key is. And your private key will be more like your ATM card number, your debit card number, where you want to keep that secure, only where you can know what that is, because that's giving access to your account. So a private key would be sort of on that level where it's something you want to store in a safe place where people can't easily access it, and you use that to actually access your crypto. Now, very important that you don't want to lose that private key because it's only yours and you'll be the only one with that information. So if you lose it, you lose your crypto as well. So very important you lose your Bitcoin that way. So you want to make sure if you do get your wallet, you can store it, your private key somewhere safely. And speaking of wallets, that's another video. But the wallet I like to use myself would be, I use the Heart wallet, which is a Ledger X. That's where I store all my assets as well. And that'll be another video I'll go over with you at another time. So I hope this little tutorial kind of gave you a better example of what Bitcoin is. I didn't want to keep you a long time. And like I say, go Google it. You know, a lot of the celebrities, a lot of the big investors, they're all investing in Bitcoin. And I think we need to jump on this train before we miss the wave. So if you have any comments, any questions, feel free to drop them down below. Try to answer as many as I can. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.